I love The White Lotus. This is a show that I actually just recently discovered. I watched season one for the first time just a couple months ago and absolutely fell in love with it. But I was concerned because obviously I was super excited. I love the show. I'm glad they're doing a second season. But I was really concerned about, okay, are they going to be able to recapture the vibe and just the brilliance of season one in a second season? Are they going to be able to do it? So I was really, really concerned going into this. But I gotta say, after this first episode of The White Lotus season 2, I'm in. I am fully in love with this new season, this new cast of characters. It's great and just shows me once again why I love this show so much. So like I said, we did just start this brand new season today on October 30th, season 2, episode 1, Ciao. And it's a great start to the episode. I mean, we have a pretty much whole new cast of characters because it is kind of an anthology series. We're dealing with different characters here. First season was in a completely different location. Now we're in the White Lotus in Sicily. So definitely a change of scenery. We do have the return of Jennifer Coolidge's character of Tanya. So we have, one returning character, and then other than that, completely new cast of characters. But this show just is insane. So guys, we are going to go and break down this episode, do a little review. I'm not going to go super duper in depth on it. So I do want to, of course, give a spoiler warning because this is going to be full spoilers for this episode. And also, I haven't posted on this channel in a while now, so I guess I'm kind of back, I guess. I don't really know how often I'm going to be posting or not, but, if you're new to the channel, please, think about maybe subscribing, hit the like button, comment, turn on the notification bell, all that stuff. I'd really appreciate it because I do plan on posting here more often starting soon. I've just been super duper busy off, and of course have my other channels, the Marvel Life and the DC Life as well. So welcome to the movie life. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing weekly reviews on this. If you guys want it, let me know in the comments below. But for now, we're going to be talking about The White Lotus Season 2, Episode 1. So like I said, this episode just reminded me of how much I love this show because this show is just brilliant because the social commentary on these characters and these people is insane because one of the things I really noticed watching this episode is like I said, completely brand new characters we're being introduced to here, and this show deals with characters that are really messed up. Like, these are some messed up individuals. They make really bad decisions. They're not really good human beings. But the thing I love about this though is like when I was watching this episode, like there would be certain scenes or certain things characters do where I would be like, I can't believe they just did that. And like times where I would literally be yelling at the screen of like, why would you do that? That is so stupid. Why would you act like that? But at the same time, I love these characters. Like, I would have scenes where I'd be like, all right, I love this character already after just like one scene. And then after watching the episode, I was like, all right, who's my favorite character? So I'd say like, okay, I really love this character. But actually, no, I like this character too. Oh, that one's cool too. So the crazy thing about this show is, again, we're dealing with such flawed characters that make terrible decisions and just are not good people. But somehow this show still makes me fall in love with these characters and still makes me care about them and really makes me interested and hopeful that they'll survive. But then there's also other ones that I'm like, I like watching them, but they're still a really bad person. If they end up dead, I wouldn't be too upset about that because that, of course, is the big season-long arc that we're going to be dealing with here is murder. Just like in the first season, how we start off the first episode, hey, there's a dead body, and we have to spend the whole season trying to figure out, first of all, who gets murdered and who is the murderer, and that, of course, came to a very satisfying conclusion there at the end of season 1. Now we have another murder mystery here, but it's different because when we start the episode, it is present day type thing, and then the rest of the series takes place 1 week before. So we start off with our character of Daphne, and she goes for one last swim before she has to leave the White Lotus, and she ends up finding a dead body. So we see one of the guests has drowned, but then the guy says that other guests have died as well. So, seems like multiple characters will not be making it out of this season, which is definitely really interesting. And the whole thing with it being a drowning, I think, is even more interesting because that's would that even be a murder, or is that just somebody not knowing how to swim and just accidentally drowning? But I loved season 1 and how they did the whole murder mystery thing going on there, because I did not at all see that ending coming at all, like not one bit. So I'm really excited to see what kind of twists and turns are going to be involved here for season 2. But now let's talk about some of these characters. So I first want to talk about the DeGrasso family. So the DeGrasso family, they they seem like a nice family at first. They're coming to Sicily. Bert, the grandpa here, he's here to visit the town where his grandmother grew up, and his son and his grandson are there with them, and he's very flirty with the ladies, which good for him. We don't really get too much else on him in the episode, but then we do have his grandson Albie, who he's a great grandson. Honestly, I think he probably is my favorite character so far. Just like how in the first season, I believe Fred Heschinger's character was my favorite overall. I just really like the young characters. Mainly, and Albie I think is a great character. He seems like a really wholesome guy. Again, he likes to help out his grandfather and all that stuff, and you also see this blossoming romance with Portia, of course Tanya's assistant here, who is having her own problems of her own, and I really like them together. I really like their little flirtation that we got there, and I really hope they do end up getting together. But there's going to be a lot in store here. There's going to be a lot of action. There's going to be a lot of drama. So who knows if they'll get together, and if they do, if they'll end up staying together. Who knows? But speaking of the DeGrasso family and being together and not being together, we have Albie's father, Bert's son, with Dominic DeGrasso. He's going through some tough times right now. So I think it's implied that he's going through divorce. He most likely, at least my assumption is that he cheated on his wife. And just, man, that phone call was insanely intense. And you see that he's kind of lost himself. He is definitely in depression mode here. And we see at the end of the episode, has hired this hooker. And yeah, he's in a dark place. And I'll be interested to see where he goes here. But he's not in the best of places here, and we see in this season on the White Lotus trailer that I believe his son is even concerned about him as well, and probably his father also. He works in Hollywood, so he's probably used to this environment. He's a super rich guy, and I think that was a really vulnerable moment at the end of the episode when he was talking to this hooker character. Like just the way he said, like, I'm going through a really tough time right now. I don't even know what to say to make conversation. So I'm really interested to see where his character is going to go here. Hopefully he'll be able to come out of this, or if not, maybe he'll end up dead, or maybe he'll be the murderer. Who knows? But then we do have the couples, the double couple, I'll call them. So we have Daphne and Theo James' character Cameron alongside Aubrey Plaza as Harper and her husband Ethan. So this is interesting here because Daphne is the character we're introduced to at the beginning of the episode, present day, so we know she survives for sure. But then we have her husband, Cameron, who, these two, they're kind of the rich couple, and then you have Harper and Ethan, who are, well, Ethan is newly rich, and they're also newly married, I believe, but they're, Ethan is just trying to fit in with Cameron, I think, and Harper is just our major Debbie Downer. She's a very judgmental character here, but at the same time, I still love her character because, it's Aubrey Plaza. How can you not love Aubrey Plaza? But she's a very judgmental character, and you have just these moments with Cameron where he seems very douchey and, snarky, entitled, rich white guy, but then you also get these moments where, the bathroom scene where he was changing into those shorts, and you know what I'm talking about with the mirror. Theo James, when I did my first look trailer breakdown type thing for the White Lotus season 2, and I had no idea who Theo James was, people were freaking out in the comment section. So I do know who Theo James is. I've heard of him. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything, but obviously now I've seen him. I saw a lot of him. I saw all of Theo James in that mirror. I know a lot of people on Twitter are pretty excited about that. So yeah, he's just a really interesting character. And again, on this season on the White Lotus trailer, we saw some stuff with him, and he's I'm guessing not a very loyal husband. I'm gonna say that for now. Especially the way he was talking about the hookers when they walked in here. Um, yeah, interesting character for sure right there. But I also want to talk about. Obviously, we have our kind of manager of the White Lotus. We have Valentina. So we had in first season it was Herman, and he was a great character. He obviously ended up being the one that died at the end, which was really sad to see. But he was like the best character in that season, and now we have Valentina. We don't get to find out too much about her, but she is kind of very much the opposite of Armand, where in a sense that he was very much about talking about the guests behind their backs. She is very upfront about it. Like, I love how when she's welcoming the guests, they get off the boat, she literally says to Bert, like, oh, I'm surprised you made the travel all this way, you know, with you being so old and all that. Like, that was hilarious. And she, of course, is going to be, I'm assuming, like Armand, kind of fed up with a lot of these guests after a while and have some tensions, but like I said, it's going to be interesting to see the kind of upfront confrontations that we'll be having from her. But, you know, obviously I saved the best for last. We have our returning characters here with Tanya and Greg. Jennifer Coolidge, of course, great actress, and her character, it's been a couple months since I watched season 1, but I forgot how whiny her character is and how over dramatic she is. But I love her character at the same time. She's so emotional and so all over the place, and just gets me thinking back to season 1, like those moments where she would just be crying for like half the episode, and the whole thing with her mother's ashes. And you see in this episode that she's almost kind of delusional, and she's like really losing it here. So maybe she possibly even has something to do with a murder here. She even has suspicions that maybe her husband Greg is actually cheating on her. And you see again in that trailer that like she actually asks, like, does he really love me? And I wouldn't be at all surprised. Like, one theory I came up with is like maybe she actually murders Greg. I mean, with how psycho she is and overdramatic, and especially seeing Portia's reactions to working with her, I would not at all be surprised if she went to those lengths, and honestly probably wouldn't even know that she's doing it. But I believe those are all the main characters that we were introduced to in this episode. This was a great episode to really set up all these characters. I love how with the show, with it being a mini series, they just jump right into it and just show you all these characters, all of their problems, all of their insecurities, all of the tensions, the trouble in paradise with these marriages, which, by the way, Tanya and Greg are married now, which I think is great, but who knows if that'll last. I kind of doubt it will. But The White Lotus, again, is just such a great drama, such a great mystery. It's just so fascinating to watch, and again, such a great social commentary on the real world. And that actually reminds me of that amazing conversation between Harper, Ethan, Daphne, and Cameron when they were talking about, like, like, oh, we don't watch the news. You don't watch the news? Oh, you didn't vote? And like talking about different streaming shows. You don't watch Ted Lasso? Like, that was a great conversation. Kind of, again, it's a great reflection of society and how we actually are in real life. And I just really enjoy seeing that brought to life in this series. It's just so much fun. And I don't know, like I said, I just really love this show. And again, I was concerned going into season 2, but already after this first episode, I am in. I love it. I am invested in these characters. I'm invested in these stories, and I'm excited to see where things go in this season, because there's going to be a lot of action, drama, sex. There's been said that there's going to be a lot more sex this season, which I know a lot of people are going to be probably excited about. But man, I'm just excited about it. The White Lotus season 2 premiere was great, and I cannot wait to see where things go from here. Again, guys, I don't know if I'm going to be doing weekly episode reviews and breakdowns. If you want me to, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I will. If there's enough, chatter and requests for it, maybe I will end up doing this, because I am definitely going to keep watching it, because I love this show so much. And I actually really enjoyed talking about it today. I mean, you could probably tell I didn't really plan on doing a video, because I'm kind of all over the place. I didn't take notes. I didn't do too much editing on this video or anything. But I'm open to talking about it if you guys want me to. So guys, definitely let me know in the comments below, what did you think about the season 2 premiere of The White Lotus on HBO Max? And again, possibly stay tuned for that second episode review and breakdown. If you want it, let me know in the comments below. But for now, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the movie life.